Excuse me. Okay. I know you guys saw the title, and no, I did not intend to wear this moo just because of what's going on. No, I'm. This is not coordinated. What I don't know what y'all thinking. This is not a coordinated effort, but I'm glad I am wearing this for what I'm about to talk about. Now, I'm gonna try and keep this as a short live because it's mostly just one topic I'm gonna be covering, kind of like a video, but just unedited. But first, as customary on this channel, we're going to check the weather for this weekend. Hello? Okay. Okay, since I times it had to pop up again. Again. Okay. So here's what's planning on happening for the next few days. This is just for the US to be aware. Severe thunderstorms, including hail and tornado, possibly in the Midwest again, which is to be expected. It's the first day of spring was on the 20th, so and even before the first day of spring, we were having tornado warnings, even on the East Coast during winter. Global climate change is kicking our asses in more ways than one. Now, let's go to Baltimore. For the people that live in Baltimore. If it'll load, it's probably going to be super slow tonight. Okay, let me go ahead and just go to the bottom because it's not loading properly. Oh, wait, did they update this? What? That's how they updated and not even bother to tell me? Okay, I see how it is. Wait, is today Thursday? Today is Thursday, yes. So it's going to be, but still pretty warm. Highs being in the mid to lower 70s with a little bit of wind here and there all throughout the night. Then Friday, once you guys wake up and get ready for work, it'll be raining. It'll be raining on your way to work. And then when you get to work, it'll just be cloudy. And then when you get off work, it'll be mostly cloudy. And when you go to bed, it'll start clearing up. Then Saturday, when you wake up, it'll be sunny. It'll be a nice sunny Saturday, something we deserve. So that's people in Baltimore. Dismiss. Let's check on the people in New York. And they have a craft advisory too. That's interesting. Oh, so even before you guys wake up to go to work, it's going to be raining. I see. And then on your way to work, it looks like it's supposed to be dying down. And then when you get to work, it's just going to be cloudy. And when you get off work, it's just going to be cloudy. And then Saturday, it's going to be partly cloudy while you guys are sleeping, hopefully. Hopefully you guys are getting a good amount of rest. 8 hours is the peak. It's what we strive for. And then when you guys wake up, it'll be sunny or mostly sunny. Now let's check on the people in Oahu real quick. All right, so it looks like the rain has let up for today. Going to be cloudy tomorrow and cloudy Saturday, but at least it's not raining for you guys anymore, which is good because it was very concerning, especially with how the Dole Dam was expected to burst, and that would just make the flooding like 10 times worse. Now, there's still flooding going on, but it doesn't seem like the dam is going to burst yet, which is good because there isn't any more rain coming. Now, everybody in Virginia, it's being really slow tonight. That's not promising. Okay. So it's a pretty clear night. Then it's just going to be cloudy on the way to work. And then while you're at work, it's going to rain. And then when you get off work, it's going to keep raining. And when you go to bed, it's going to go from raining to not raining and just be cloudy. Then Saturday, when you wake up, it's going to be nice and sunny. And that's the weather report for today. Now let's go ahead and get into the main business. The UN resolution urges reparations for slavery's historical wrongs, which by far has been the best news to have been heard in a while. But as you can see here on this chart, a lot of countries in Europe and Canada decided to abstain from voting. A majority of the African countries and West Asian and Asian countries voted yes. And then you got the three delinquents: Argentina, Israel, and the United States. Which I'm gonna talk about that. Just give me a minute. Oh, I'm gonna talk about that. Right. The resolution spearheaded by Ghana received 123 votes in favor. 3 countries, Argentina, Israel, and the United States, voted against, and 52 abstained, those of which are mostly in Europe. Today, we come together in solemn solidarity to affirm truth and pursue a route to healing and reparative justice, says Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama. I think that's how you pronounce it, Mahama. Speaking ahead of the vote on behalf of the 54-member African group, the largest regional bloc in the UN. And it goes over a little bit of slavery, and I mean a little bit. Stolen, shackled, shipped. For more than 400 years, millions of people were stolen from Africa, put in shackles, and shipped to the New World to toil in cotton fields and sugar and coffee plantations under scorching heat and the crack of a whip. A lot of people don't tell how bad it was working at the sugar plantations. Not just the labor, but the punishment. Because the enslavers, if they suspected a slave trying to escape, they would take some water and some sugar in a big vat, boil it together, and dunk that person in there. Boiling hot sugar water. And white people today have the nerve to call us violent when this is the shit their ancestors did to ours. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The caucasity of it all. Denied their basic humanity and even their own names, they were forced to endure generations of exploitation with repercussions that reverberate to this day. including persistent anti Black racism and discrimination. The resolution emphasizes the trafficking of enslaved Africans and radicalized chattel enslavement of Africans as the gravest crime against humanity. By reason of the definitive break in world history scale, duration, systematic nature, brutality, and enduring consequences that continue to structure the lives of all people through radicalized regimes of labor, property, and capital, which couldn't be truer. It could not be truer. To this day, Black communities are still being overpoliced. To this day, Black people are having difficulties with employment. In fact, so many Black women lost their jobs with working with the federal government. At, I want to say the beginning of last year, either the beginning of last year or the end of 2024. But yeah, it was really bad. It was really bad. Black people are still being executed by the state. Black people are still just more or less terrorized to this day. And this is a step in the right direction. Now, I don't know what's going to come next of it since, the countries that mostly were responsible for European colonization abstained to vote. So I don't know if they're going to want to do anything about this. Most likely not, because they don't want to own up to the responsibility of what they caused. Like, white people are wrong at the mad. White people are mad at the wrong people. White people are mad at the wrong people. If they need to be mad at somebody, they need to be mad at themselves and their ancestors. Because it's because of their European ancestors we're in the position we are today. They created white supremacy when they saw all the Black Africans just running, not running around, but just vibing, more or less, just vibing, having a great time, making commerce with each other, with each other's kingdoms, just minding their business. They're, like I was saying, just vibing. But yeah, since white people love putting labels on shit, they want to label us, the enslaved, well, before that, they want to label the Africans black because they associate black with, all things wrong in this world and consider themselves white, which they thought was they contextualize as what's right in the world, hence white supremacy. And they also saw how a lot of time with some tribes, they're very matriarchal. And the thing about matriarchy, it doesn't just center women. Okay? It doesn't just center women. It centers children. Matriarchy protects children. Matriarchy teaches children. Matriarchy centers children. So with matriarchy, it's not just women at the head. Children are to be protected under matriarchy. Patriarchy, they don't care about that. Let's just be completely honest. They don't care about that. They don't care about protecting children. They just care about making children, and that's it. Under patriarchy, that's all they care about. But with matriarchy, every child that is on this earth is precious and needs protection under matriarchy. And since the European colonizers were just confused about that, well, they just like, well, let's make up our own little shit, i.e., the patriarchy, making men the center instead of children the center. Anyway, let's get more into the votes. The landmark resolution passed on Wednesday was backed by the African Union AU and the Caribbean Community CARICOM. It has been proposed by Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama, who says, "Let it be recorded that when history beckoned, we did what was right for the memory of millions who suffered the indignity of slavery." And it also says here that the 52 that abstained were the UK and other members of the European Union. The UK said it recognized the gravity of the issues addressed in the resolution and the untold harm and misery. I got to sneeze. God damn it, it went away. Whoever said bless you, you cursed me. Of the issues addressed in the resolution and the untold harm and misery the transatlantic slave trade had inflicted, I'm tired, on millions of people over many decades. But James Karuki, I think that's how you pronounce it, James Karuki, the European charge I can't speak French. Charge d'affaires to the UN said Britain continued to disagree with fundamental propositions of the text and was firmly of the view that we must not create a hierarchy of historical atrocities. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. If people continue to say that the Holocaust was the worst thing to happen to humanity, we can say that the transatlantic and chattel slavery was the worst thing, by far the worst thing to happen to humanity. We can definitely create a hierarchy. Chattel slavery and transatlantic slave trade and the Holocaust are definitely in the top 5 of atrocities in the world. Of historical atrocities, I should say. They're definitely in the top 5. Trust. No single set of atrocities should be regarded as more or less, you know what, he's just deflecting. Get this white bullshit off my screen. Get this Cassidy off my screen. Like, it's like every time we try and do something to, bring attention to what the European colonizers did to our ancestors, every country that was involved or was silent during it wants to deflect. They want to not take accountability for it. They want to just sweep it under the rug like they have done for 400 years. That's what they want to do, and that's what they will continue to do. They want to keep their head in the sand and pretend this never happened when it did. I wouldn't be here in this country if it wasn't for what the European colonizers did to my ancestors. I would probably still be streaming, but I would be in my home country, wherever that may be. I still need to do a ancestry test to see where my tribe is. It's just sad. And especially with trying to do genealogy and all that shit, because they burned a lot of records of the people that kept slaves. The white people burned a lot of records and made sure we wouldn't be able to read the records if we found them because they only want us to read the Bible. They didn't want us to be able to completely read and write. No, they wanted us to be indoctrinated in a religion that we did not know. We only knew what our ancestors taught us and the ancestors before them, which was voodoo. And I am sick and tired of people saying that voodoo is evil, especially black Christians. I am so sick and tired of black Christians saying that voodoo and hoodoo is demonic. No, it's ancestral. It's ancestral. It's what we used to do before the white man came and fucked it all up. I got a hair splinter somewhere. Hold on. Ow. Oh my god. The downside of my job. Picking out hair splinters in the webbings of my fingers. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I'm gonna take a sip of water. So yes, we can list the historical atrocities. We most certainly can, especially since y'all keep talking about the Holocaust, but you don't want to talk about the Holocaust that was happening in Africa. Y'all want to talk about the Holocaust that was happening in the Caribbean. Y'all don't want to talk about the Holocaust that is happening now in Palestine, a full on genocide that has been documented for years. And I got another gripe. Hold on, I got another gripe. I tried to keep this short, I really did, but I just got another gripe. It is 2026, and people are still anti-Semitic as fuck. Like, it's in the manosphere. I watched Inside the Manosphere, by the way, and it just shows how anti-Semitic these people are. It shows how racist, and no surprise how sexist they are, but it shows how racist, how anti-Semitic, how much of a gambling problem they have, how much of a corn problem they have. Because if I say the other word, YouTube's going to take my video and give the old Yeller treatment. Hmm. But how are so many people just going through the rabbit hole of oh we're in the situation that we're in because of the Jews. It's all because of the Jews. The Jews are the reason why we can't succeed in life. It's the Jews. It's the Jews. We are not in 1940s Germany. Hey, give me my bag. What are you doing? My brother. Anyway, lost my train of thought. We are not in 1940 Germany. Why y'all still anti-Semitic? Why y'all still choosing a scapegoat that isn't? Why y'all still choosing someone to blame that isn't your ancestors? Hello? Why are your ancestors not the ones to blame? Why are your ancestors not the first people that come to your mind to blame for why we're in the shithole we're in now? I don't get it. I really don't. I really don't. And I know it's not all white people that have the same mindset, but it is too many white people that like to just blame other ethnic groups, other religions, other people that aren't their damn ancestors. It's too many. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. It is far too much. Oh, and one other thing I want to talk about. Let me put my glasses back on. Cause yeah, saw this go viral, and I don't know why it's so divided. It shouldn't be divided. It should. Oh, you guys can't see shit. My bad. I sorry. That's my fault. I don't know why so many people are divided about this. Because it should be cut and dry that this is wrong. This is wrong. This is that bullshit. A young black woman is going viral for working as an ICE agent and has a lot of people upset. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Now, with that being said, since this is a black woman, that does not give you the excuse to be racist. A black woman working as an ICE agent does not give you the excuse to be racist. And I see a lot of these white progressives and white leftists saying some anti-black shit about this woman. I will say that. However, she doesn't need to be working with the oppressor. No black person needs to be working with the oppressor, especially black women. Because oppressive groups like this with ICE, they just continue to uphold white supremacy and patriarchy. And that is a double negative to black women. So, no, this is not right, but it's also not right to be racist and say some anti black and misogynoir shit. We can criticize without being racist, just like we can criticize without being ableist. Yes, I'm talking about the BAFTA awards in March. Because some people are still under the circumstance that we can just go slur for slur. We cannot go slur for slur, okay? And I hate that Gen Z has brought back the R slur. I hate that shit, man. I really do. Like, just like how I hate our generation and millennials brought back the nicotine addiction. We were so close. We were so close to giving up on cigarettes, and y'all bitches want to start vaping. For real? Y'all want to start vaping, and now nicotine addiction is up. It's up. Like Cardi B says, it's up and it's stuck. Oh, Lord. But no, back to the subject at hand. Black people should not be working with the oppressor. But some black people are okay with oppression happening as long as they get to hold the whip. And this is a prime example of this. And I said on my threads, and I know I made some people mad, but I don't give a damn. This is a prime example of a house slave mindset. Now, what am I talking about? Well, I'm going to have to definitely elaborate because some of y'all like to just dump the conclusions and not do research or pick up a book and read it. Let me find a good article for this. I don't know if I can show this all the way because it has a different N word, but it's not the ER. It's knee and growing. So, but according to this article from Columbia.edu, there are two types of black people. I'm just going to say black people because I'm not going to risk saying that type of N word and get my channel deleted. You have the house black and the field black. The house black usually lives close to the master. It's close to the master. They dressed like the master. They wore the master's secondhand clothes. They ate food that the master left on the table. They lived in the master's house, probably in the basement or attic, but they still lived in the master's house. So whenever the house black identified themselves, they always identified themselves in the same sense that the master identified themselves. The house slave, I'm just saying slave, the house slave wears the same clothes as the master. The house slave eats the same food as the master. The house slave lives in the same house as the master. Is it starting to make sense now? Because if not, I don't know what else to tell you. I really don't know what else to tell you. Because I read it off. I didn't show it because I didn't want YouTube to kill my channel. But still, I read it. I paraphrased a little bit, but I read it. And people are saying that the criticism she's getting is bullying. Criticism? does not equal bullying. Criticism does not equal bullying. Let me say it in the mic. Criticism does not equal bullying. What the white progressives are doing is bullying. Okay? What the white progressives are doing is bullying. We got to hold them accountable, just like we need to hold this young woman accountable. Because how are you just going to go around and tear families from your home, from tear families apart, when the same people that are most likely working in ICE, i.e., white people, would do the same thing to you and your family? The same white people who probably had ancestors that took away our ancestors, okay? That tore our ancestors from their families. And you are out here being a house slave. And I feel the same way about black police officers and black military people as well. Because how on earth are you going to, and this is with black police officers, how are you going to feed into the system that is negative to our community, to your community, mind you? How are you going to feed into the oppressive system that oppresses your community? And with the military, how are you going to continue to spread colonialism, especially when it means ending the lives of people that look like you, and lives of people that you came from? Yes, I'm talking about the bombings in Nigeria. Yes, I'm talking about that. How is it that you want to continue this endless cycle of colonialism, especially for people, against people that you came from, or people that look like you, or people that just want to be left the fuck alone? And I feel that's what black people want too. Yes, we would love reparations, especially from all the shit you did, especially with like the Tulsa race massacre, with Oscarville that turned to Lake Lanier, the crack epidemic. We would love to get compensation, a financial compensation from that. But you know what else we like? We like to be left alone after we rebuild our black communities, after we clean ourselves from the drugs you placed in our communities, after we've healed from that generational trauma, which, baby, that's going to take twice as long. That's going to take 800 years to heal from the 400 years of torment. So yeah, after, we just need to keep an eye on what's going on with the UN in regards to what they plan to do with their plan for reparations. But after all that, we black people just want to be left alone. We really do. We don't want to we don't want to hurt anybody. And that's the thing that the enslavers were scared about when it came to slave revolts. They were scared that what they were doing to the slaves, how they were just beating them, raping them, torturing them, burning them, turning their skin into leather to put on couches, ripping out their teeth to use as dentures, using their children as alligator bait, eating them. They were scared that once the slaves revolted, they do the exact same thing to the enslavers. That's what they were scared of. And white people are still scared about that now. That if we, as a black community, gain enough power, we're going to do them how they did us. Granted, would they be deserving of that? It's all for other people's opinion. If the white people deserve something like that. But what we really want is just to be left alone. We want to be able to heal. We want to be able to grow our community. We want to be able to just exist. Okay? We want to just exist. I'm saying this as a Black woman, but I'm also saying this as a Black woman with autism. We just want to exist. We just want to exist. And with that, I'm going to play a little bit of Animal Crossing before bed. Well, I say a little bit, and then when I turn around, the sun's going to be up. Yeah. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this little short live. Hopefully, I had no sound issues. It looks like everything's going good. And yeah, until next time, be sure to wash your hands, stay hydrated, take care of yourselves and each other, and be sure to take care now. Bye bye.